This is the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. And I've got a case on it because I've been using it for the last month. And I'm actually going to take off the case for this video because I think it looks kind of ugly. But in today's video, I'm going to talk about using this phone for the last month, my experience using it alongside and after switching from an iPhone, and whether I think the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is worth it. So in almost every way, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is truly the ultimate and maybe even best Android smartphone. And while no, there are not that many improvements on this phone that really raise the bar from the S23 Ultra, there are some things that if you own the S23 Ultra, you might want to consider. But let's just start things off by talking about the design. This phone is truly a slab. I say that in the best way possible. It truly is a very premium feeling phone. It's got a nice heft to it, which is kind of ironic because I switched out the frame to a titanium frame, which is a lighter metal, but technically stronger metal, just like Apple did with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. But even with this titanium frame, it is still a pretty beefy Android phone. The back of the phone still comes in glass, and it's still very minimal. You've got the Samsung graphic right down there on the bottom. I grabbed the black color. There's a bunch of other colors if you decide you want to go for something a little bit brighter. And visually, the camera array on the back of the phone is almost identical to last year's model. The S24 Ultra still does have these sharp edges which really dig into your hand if you hold the phone for a long period of time, if you kind of rest it in your palm like this. That's why I have a case. I just like the way it feels better in my hand, and I also like protecting my $1,300 phone, which sure is expensive, but it's not out of the ordinary for like top of the line phone, so I really shouldn't be complaining about that. This phone just looks like it means business. It looks like it's here to not mess around, answer calls and text messages, and do all the processing that you need to do on your phone. There is, however, one part of the phone that's been changed somewhat dramatically from the S23 that honestly I think makes a huge difference. But first, I want to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Surfshark. Surfshark VPN is a virtual private network that keeps all of your internet data safe and encrypted. That basically means that Surfshark helps keep your personal information like your web surfing data or your credit card info away from big companies and cyber criminals.
Nice.
Essentially, Surfshark hides your IP address so you can make it look like you're using the internet in one place when you're actually somewhere completely different. Which is incredibly useful when you're traveling and you want to finish your favorite Netflix show that you've been binging, but unfortunately it's not available in the country that you're traveling to. And that actually works in reverse too. Say there's a show that's only available in the UK and you live in Texas or Utah or Virginia or Delaware or wherever you live in the United States, you can use Surfshark and watch that show in your home, rather than having to spend like $1,200 on a ticket to fly to the UK just to watch some TV. Plus, hotel Wi-Fi is absolutely garbage, and not for the reason that you might think. Yes, it is slow, but people also can very easily steal data because the Wi-Fi isn't encrypted. If you use Surfshark, your data is completely encrypted so that even if there's someone down in the cafe trying to steal your internet searching history, I don't know what you're searching in the hotel, but whatever you're searching in the hotel, they can't because you're using Surfshark. And something else I love about Surfshark is their clean web feature, which blocks ads on pretty much every site, phishing attempts, malware, trackers, all sorts of bad stuff that you don't want on your computer or to follow you around. So make sure to check out Surfshark VPN for yourself and use code Fowler for 3 extra months free. You can do that by clicking the link in the description below or scanning the QR code on your screen. Surfshark also offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's really no risk to you. So again, if you want to check out Surfshark for yourself, make sure to click the link at the top of the description below or scan that QR code right up there, or even go to surfshark.deals/Fowler. And that is the screen. Not only did they completely flatten it out, they also changed the glass to Corning Gorilla Glass Armor, which apparently is a lot more resistant to scratches and things like that. I had this phone for a month, like I said. I put it in my pocket, I put it in my backpack, all sorts of places, and it's completely scratch-free, which is honestly pretty impressive. But those weren't the things that I was talking about. I was actually talking about the new anti-reflective display, which is absolutely incredible, especially if you use your phone outside, which most people do. It really reduces the glare from the lights. It's incredible. I mean, compared to the screen protector on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it's like a night and day difference. It's wild. For any of you out there that actually care about the specific name of the display, I wrote it down because it's just insanely long. A 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X QHD Plus display with a 3120 by 1440 resolution. And to be honest, it looks incredible. They've also actually brightened it up a little bit, so it now gets 2600 nits of brightness, which is awesome. Of course, it's 120 hertz, so swiping and sliding and things like that are very, very smooth on this display. And now you can actually have the entire display be always on, which is really cool. It's something you can keep by your nightstand if you want your time on your phone next to you. I usually just turn it off because I don't really need the always on stuff, but you can use it if you want to. And as I mentioned earlier, coming from an iPhone, a phone that I've been using for years and years and years and years, a phone that has a rounded corner screen, it's really nice to go to a phone that's literally an exact rectangle that pretty much has the screen go all the way to the edge, because it really feels like you're immersing yourself in the content, even though it's a little handheld device. It's incredible. Now, I did mention earlier the price being $1,300, and that is the price of the base 256GB model, which I say base, but it's the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. It's not a base phone by any stretch of the imagination. There are, however, some price jumps if you do decide you want to go for a slightly larger storage size. There's a 512GB and of course a 1TB. I believe the 1TB tops out in price at $1,659, which is unbelievable in my opinion, but hey, you know what? Some people need that kind of storage. And to be honest, if you only upgrade your phone every 2 to 3 years or even 2 to 4 years, I don't think it's completely crazy to spend that kind of money to get the larger storage size. However, for a lot of these Android phones, you can use the Google Cloud and just upload everything, like Google Photos, and you don't have to store it directly on your device and use up all that storage. I will say though, if you ended up waiting to get the Samsung Galaxy S24 until now, you actually can save like $200. A lot of these phones are going on sale at different retailers. I bought mine from Best Buy for $200 under what it usually sells for. That means I got this phone for $1,100 versus $1,300, which is pretty decent. And that pricing actually makes this phone cheaper to get into than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So if you want to get a pro level phone, but you don't want to spend, $1,300, grab this phone, you can find it on sale, and you save $200 and you get the best Android phone out there. At least right now. That's very possible that could change in the next couple months when we get the new Google phone, but as of right now, this is probably my favorite Android phone on the market. I probably should have waited till the end of the review to say that, but I feel like you've probably watched a couple Samsung Galaxy S24 reviews by this point, so you probably already knew I was going to say that. For me though, as a content creator, one of the things that I do the most on my phone, whether it's the iPhone 15 Pro Max or the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, I almost called it Samsung Galaxy S24 Max, is recording vlogs. I used to carry around a giant Sony camera with this huge lens on a tripod and a mic, and the quality of everything was great. But nowadays, you can actually get excellent video quality and sound quality on a phone that fits in your pocket. Actually, on my main channel, my sneaker channel, just Seth Fowler if you want to search that up, I use my phone to vlog exclusively. Other than the sit-down videos like this, I'm using my phone. And that's really just because the video quality is excellent, especially when you're watching it compressed, like on YouTube or something like that. You can't even really tell that it's filmed on a phone. I mean, sure you can if you know what a phone looks like versus a camera when it comes to video, but in most cases, it doesn't really affect the storytelling of the video. And especially when you're using like a pro-level phone like the Samsung Galaxy S24 and the iPhone 15 Pro Max, it's just a great vlogging solution. What's up guys? I'm testing the video and the audio on both the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra and also the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This is sort of my vlogging setup. I do usually use a mic, but just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use the standard phone audio. Let me know what you guys think. So because of that, cameras on this phone were one of the most important things for me, and I did a bunch of testing on the cameras, both for video and for photography. And just to give you an idea of the difference in camera quality between the S24 Ultra and the iPhone 15 Pro Max, I took the same photos and the same videos on both phones so you guys can compare them right here on screen. So I'm just gonna throw those example videos and photos on the screen while I talk about the camera specs of the S24 Ultra. So this phone has 4 cameras. You've got an ultra-wide 12 megapixel, you've got a main camera, which is a wide 200 megapixel, you've got a telephoto 5x 50 megapixel. On the S23, it was a 10x 10 megapixel camera, but this time they decided to go for a 5x 50 megapixel camera, which I actually think is better overall. And the final camera is a 10 megapixel telephoto 3x zoom. And I've got to say, no matter which camera you go with, whether it's the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra or the iPhone 15 Pro Max, you're going to be happy. I mean, look at these images. They all look great. My photography skills could use some improvement, but the actual cameras themselves capture beautiful images. And right off the bat, if you're looking for a camera that just has the most insane zoom, then go for the S24 Ultra. The 10x zoom is ridiculous. I couldn't believe how clear it was and how far you could zoom. Sure, Samsung might fake some moon photos here and there, but overall, in most cases, it's incredible. To be fair, the moon photos do look incredible. They're just not totally real. Honestly, video quality on both phones is amazing. I didn't have a problem with either. For me personally, from a workflow point of view, I do think that the iPhone is slightly easier to work with because I use a Mac and I edit on a Mac and I use Final Cut and all sort of good stuff, and I can just airdrop all the videos to my computer. However, uploading photos to Google Photos and then downloading them on my computer is not that difficult either. So it's not really something to complain about. It's just the iPhone is slightly easier to use when it comes to that. I will say, personally, I think I'm partial to the video quality of the iPhone. I just like the look of it a little bit better. I'm not saying it's any sharper or any clearer. There's something about it that just feels more cinematic. And I'm not even talking about cinematic mode. I'm just talking about the pure video that comes out of the iPhone. That said though, again, you really can't go wrong with the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. And when it comes to photos, this camera looks amazing and, in my opinion, might even look better than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, both phones obviously do a lot of post-processing and AI processing on all of the photos that you take, and you can change that and adjust that and do whatever you want with it after you've taken the photo. I mean, the cameras on both phones are excellent. The only thing that the iPhone can't really do is zoom as far as the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. It really comes down to preference when you talk about photo quality and video quality between these two phones. Let me know in the comment section down below which phone's quality you prefer. Speaking of AI, there are a lot of new AI features on this phone that Samsung is touting on the S24 Ultra. To be fair, a lot of them are coming to the S23 Ultra and also probably the new Google Pixel that's coming out later this year, so it's not really exclusive to this device. They are cool though. When it comes to photos, there's the magic erase button. You can just erase people out of photos if they get in your way, which is amazing. Not always 100% effective. Sometimes you get weird smudging, because I mean, it's literally just trying to take out a person and just imagine what's behind it. Like I said, not always 100% effective. There's the remaster button, which essentially helps you color correct photos. There's the magic editor, which helps you like move things around in the image, and it kind of, like for example, if you want to move a car, you can move the car to the side and then it sort of fills in what would have been there behind the car. It's a really cool feature. Aside from photos, there are some other really cool AI features like live call translations, which is crazy. Summaries of web pages if you just prefer a TLDR of everything that you do. Apparently better note dictation, but I never used note dictation, so I don't know if it's any better. I just know that they say that it's better. And circle to search, which you can use with the S Pen. Now, circle to search is similar to just the photo search feature that you have just in Google in general. You can even use that in iPhone. The difference here is that you can circle the thing that you want to search on your phone with the S Pen. It's not that different, but it's slightly different. I will say though that you can literally circle anything anywhere, whether it's a website, whether you're on Twitter. Like for example, let's go to, okay, I'm a sneakerhead, so let's look at these sneakers really quick. I know it says what they are in the tweet, but regardless, I'm gonna hold down the home button right here, and then I'm gonna circle the shoes, like that. Anthony Edwards, AE1 lows. Awesome. It's a very cool feature. It makes it really easy to search anything, anywhere, at any time. I will say though that it does kind of make me a little bit lazy because I don't ever have to do any like physical like thinking when I'm searching something. I just circle it, which could be a good thing. If you guys watch my main channel, you know I like to go to thrift stores all the time, and it is really useful going to a thrift store, taking a photo of something and then circling it and finding out what it is right then and there. That's a super useful feature. And I'm not kidding when I say I thrift all the time. I mean, I have a thrifting series on my main channel where I go out and thrift for the entire day. It is really nice to have a phone that has amazing battery life because I'm filming myself, filming what I'm thrifting, searching what I'm thrifting, and being able to do that all day is super useful. The Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. It's got excellent battery life, as good as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, I've gotta say. I've had no issues using this phone all day for filming and doing things like that. I mean, it doesn't last the entire day if I'm filming for hours and hours on end, but it does last most of the day. And if I'm just using it as a regular phone, like going on Instagram here and there, taking calls, taking text messages, or answering text messages, it can last me almost 2 days. It's wild. Of course, you got wireless charging on this thing in addition to USB-C fast charging. This phone can also charge other devices through wireless charging, which is pretty cool. My iPhone can't do that, but I will say I don't very often charge other people's phones with this because why are you taking my charge? You should charge up your own phone. The processor in the phone is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is incredibly powerful. It runs games on the App Store just like that. No issues whatsoever. One thing I did have issues with, which probably has nothing to do with the Snapdragon, is the face unlock. Doesn't really work that often. Face doesn't match. Why doesn't the face match? So I end up using the pin or my thumbprint all the time. Like literally, why isn't this working? Took a second, but it worked. My iPhone does it like that. It's crazy. Face doesn't match. Like every other time it says the face doesn't match. Why is that? It's updated to the newest firmware. I don't understand it. Is it just my phone? Is it everyone's Samsung? I don't know. What's crazy though is that after a month of using this phone, that's really the only problem that I've had. I mean, sure, there's like tiny things here or there that aren't even worth mentioning, but that's the only problem that's consistently bothered me and still bothers me to this day. But I mean, overall, the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is incredible. It's insanely powerful. The cameras are great. The battery life is amazing. It does everything that you need it to do. And honestly, transitioning from an iPhone to a Galaxy was way more seamless than I expected. The only problem that I had was there was a few people like my wife and my business partner who don't respond to green bubbles, which is just like such a stupid problem to have. But I feel like it's a more pervasive problem than people like to admit. They eventually started responding to the green bubbles. It just took a second. So is the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra worth it? In my opinion, absolutely. There are a lot of features on this phone that you can also get on the standard Samsung Galaxy S24. But I mean, if you're looking for the ultimate Android phone with a stylus, or I guess a S Pen, and you want just the most amazing screen and the most amazing cameras, the S24 Ultra is the way to go. And now that you can get it on sale, it's even more worth it. I absolutely love this phone. It's incredible. And while I don't think it's a necessary upgrade over the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, I do think it's worth it if you have anything older than that, or if you're switching from iPhone. And honestly, if you're switching from iPhone, this is the phone to get. Plus, now apparently it's got 7 years of support, or I guess 7 generations of Android support, which is insane, especially compared to Apple's. what, like 5 years of support. So you can actually even have this phone for longer. I feel like though if you're spending $1,600 on a phone, you're probably buying one much more often than every 7 years, which shouldn't make sense, but most people who spend a lot on their phones tend to upgrade a lot, like myself. So maybe that's not a selling point for you, but hey, it's a way to justify the cost for you in your head. But hey, that pretty much wraps up the video for today. Let me know your thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra in the comment section down below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. We're dangerously close to 100,000 subscribers. I mean, thousands of subscribers away, like 2,000 subscribers away at the time of filming this. It's wild. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and I will see you all in the next one.